really quickly, Ryan Clark, he did issue an apology on Twitter. I'll read just a quick snippet of it, and there's a 2-minute long video on his Twitter account, Real R Clark 25. When I decided to do TV, I had two main priorities: respect all NFL players, coaches, executives, and staff members. And number two, earn and keep the respect of those very same people. It was never my intention to question Tua's work ethic or commitment to the game, but I'm also aware enough to know that intent doesn't always match impact. And then he adds, I do my best to be honest when executing my job, as well as being honest when I fall short. I fell short on Monday, and for that, I genuinely apologize. Again, it's a much longer statement that he released, a 2-minute video, but he took the high road here. He's trying to calm the flames a little bit. He doesn't want to go with a back and forth on Tua, and he explains that in the video where Tua talks about, his people being a tough people and how he doesn't want to let his pride get in the way because he hears that and essentially saying those are fighting words and I can fight. Like I brought my family up from nothing, but he took the high road. So really quickly, just your thoughts on how Ryan Clark handled this.
I do like it. I actually was with Ryan this morning and we talked about it, and he was like, he didn't think it was going to blow up like this. He didn't think it was going to be what it is. So I told him this morning, I respect what you did, like taking the high road of it, because it really is not like if there are analytical things behind any question or any statement or any, the PFF stuff. If you say Justin Herbert's better than Tua, now we have an argument. The argument, if Tua looks like a stripper from Onyx, like what's the quantifiable evidence behind that? You know what I'm saying? Like it was a joke. And Ryan was like, I was joking. It was the summer. I was having a good time. And then it blew up bigger than it would be. Mike Florio got into it and he wrote a whole damn article about it. So Ryan was like, it's more than what I wanted it to be. And as a bigger man, Ryan was like, hey, take it easy. I was messing around. And Ryan does joke a lot. It's almost funny because I'm way more funny than Ryan Clark. So he has to take the back seat to funny with me. So now when he gets funny, like it gets more serious. But I'll tell you, and I told Ryan, the thing that got to me about it, and I said it yesterday, Solana, was the disrespect for the Onyx strippers is who nobody's speaking about.
Yeah.
Tua spoke. Oh, Josh, Tua spoke about it, and Ryan spoke about it. I have not talked to Licious or Strawberry about their feelings about this topic. So
Jimmy, get him on the phone.
That was my problem. I just changed my number. I lost their contact, Josh. But I just changed my number. I can't talk to them. But that was the thing. This is so funny that nowadays, I would tell y'all this. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, this would have been a 10-second conversation. Now with social media, with everything that happens, with people really, and yesterday we talked about it, I'll bring it up again, is that this is a downtime being the preseason, that this blew up. If this was week 3 or 4 in the NFL season, this would not be where it was right now. Ryan recognizes that. Ryan recognized that it was a bad place joke. As we talked about yesterday, Solana, where we have some jokes that we regret a couple days later after we say them, and it's exactly what it was. Again, I went back to it. I love Tua's response because it was an alpha male responding to another alpha male. But when a man, this is a life lesson, when a man makes a decision and it goes a way he didn't think it was going to go, say sorry. Say, hey, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't think it was going to blow up that big. And that's what Ryan did. That's what me and Ryan talked about this morning. RC thought it was a joke. He thought it was funny. And the response from it is what he responded to and said, no, I did not think it was going to blow up to this point. And I love that an alpha male can say, I'm sorry. And this is a bigger lesson amongst all of us listening and all of us on this show that, hey, if I say something and it goes to a point and offends somebody to a point that I didn't expect it to, my bad. I apologize, big bro.
I also think part of it, Crowder, you're right, by the way. Like, I think he handled it with class. And I don't think it benefits anybody involved for him to douse the flames, right? I really don't think it benefits anybody. But I also think, had he made the exact same joke on the pivot, where the setting is more of a, shoot the bleep setting between you guys, I don't think it goes viral. I don't think it gets back to Tua. I don't think anybody even clips it. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's more of the setting of where it was said. It's an NFL live show. They're supposed to be breaking down X's and O's, right? That's the expectations. I'm not telling you that that's what they have to do, but that's the expectations. And, it's the 4-letter network, and that carries some weight with it. There's more eyes on that. And you're, I guess, held to a different standard than you would be on your podcast, which is widely popular. You have like 1 billion downloads on YouTube. You guys get the best guests, but the setting, the standard, the expectation is, hey, these guys are going to sit around and they're going to make jokes, and it's not as serious. And I think it's different on ESPN.
Solana, this conversation was had today. Ryan has been around me too long. Ryan has seen me poke bears. Yeah. And he started poking the bear too. When you're around a degenerate like myself, you're around the alcoholic all day, you might take a sip of liquor. He's around the guy that plays and jokes all day long, 3-4 days a week. So I want to take some responsibility for creating this in Ryan Clark. I want to say sorry to Ryan Clark. To your point, it's different platforms that you're on, and you can speak differently. I've never put myself in a situation where I have anybody to answer to other than my wife, and she cusses my ass out probably twice a week. So, yes, Solana, you're 100% correct. Different platform, different outcome, different response, different media coverage if it was on a podcast other than ESPN NFL Live.
And it's also the guy that he's talking about, too. I think that plays a lot into it, especially down here, because it really went viral with some huge Dolphin and Tua fans on Twitter down here. And I think people are, for whatever reasons they have, right or not, a bit sensitive when it comes to Tua and the defense of him, given everything that's happened over the last 3 years. And not to get too deep into the weeds of everything he said, but I do wonder how much of it has to do with the part before the joke about the work ethic part of it. And if he had actually been listening to those around him in the offseason to get to where the point where he appears like he does so RC can make the joke. I wonder if that's also part of this too.
No, Jay, get into the weeds, bro. Like, that's what it is that he's been disrespected by his, I'll say it, organization, coaching staff with Brian Flores. He's been disrespected with replacing him with Fitzpatrick. He's been disrespected with the injury stuff. Then he put out the jiu-jitsu conversation, whatever the hell he was doing to learn how to fall. Solana, I saw you go to
nailed it,
Mike.
No, you nailed it.
Is it Zuzitsu?
Yeah, he's been doing jiu-jitsu. No, you got it, bro. You got it.
The jiu-jitsu stuff, like, Tua Tagovailoa is a national champion, All-American, top 5 pick, and he's a punchline towards people. And Ryan Clark made him a punchline recently, and he's trying to get away from that. And that's what it is, Josh. You said don't get into the weeds. That's what the weeds are, where this came from, I think, and where the national attention came from. If this was Josh Allen, we talked about it, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, all these young quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, this is nothing. Tua has this coddled baby, little delicate flower persona about him because of what he's been in. And now Ryan Clark comes out at the end of him trying to squash that and amps it up again, amplifies that whole thought again by calling him he called him a woman. He called him a stripper. He called him, like all that. Like, if this is not Tua Tagovailoa, it is a different conversation. If Jalen Hurts came back a little thicker this season and Ryan Clark called him a stripper from Onyx, this is nothing. This doesn't even make a headline in any national media.
And I think a lot of the reason why that perception is around Tua is because he usually takes the high road when things come up. He always plays the card. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I just kind of focus on me and those around me. I don't pay attention to the outside stuff. And as we discussed when I was on yesterday, and just throughout this conversation, he finally stood up for himself publicly like that for the first time. And that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, but I think Crowder nailed it. He's been a punchline for some reason and doesn't want to be punchline anymore, which I think anybody, especially at that level, like, it's not like he's been Rex Grossman in the NFL. I mean, he's had some injury troubles, but dude played pretty well in the NFL. He was in an MVP race last year at one point in the season. So it doesn't want to be a punchline anymore. I think you nailed it, Crowder.
Yeah.